If you found this reading, then Spirit has a message for you. This is what Spirit, your higher self, your guides, your angels want you to know right now. This is, of course, a timeless reading, and you are finding it at the exact right time and the exact right version of the now for you. So welcome, beautiful soul. We have the Five of Pentacles as our first card out here. And for all those who are curious, I'm using the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot to get us started here. Let me get a couple more cards. Spirit, let's clarify the Five of Pentacles here. We've got the Eight of Wands. We've got the Three of Wands and the Nine of Pentacles. So somebody is receiving communication or information about a financial matter right now, is what this feels like. This is something where perhaps you've been in limbo for a little while. You've been really hoping and manifesting, working on that energy of becoming a matching frequency to abundance. And this feels like abundance in all forms, not just necessarily when it comes to money, but that is, I think, within the realm of what you have been working to, I want to use the word magnetize toward you. I think that that word is important for some who are going to be finding this video. That's quite literally a word that you've been using. Or if you haven't been using it, that's what you've been doing, is what Spirit is telling you. You have been making yourself more magnetic. And whatever you have been doing, it has been working. Whether this is calling back your energy, calling back your power, whether this is cutting people out of your life that no longer need to be within your realm, within your sphere, whether this is affirmations, mantras. There's a whole lot that goes into it. So I think for some people, it's definitely about releasing whatever it is that has been. Let me feel into how I want to put this here. Keeping you in a lower vibration, keeping you in the state of attachment. That's what this is. You're becoming more magnetic because you are learning how to practice detachment. Detachment from the results, detachment from the how, the cursed hows, detachment from people, places, and things. Anywhere where you were giving your energy away, you've been taking your energy back. And so now you're in a period where you're going to start to see some movement. For some of you finding this video, you've recently become single, or you've recently gone your own way. Whether this is like a business venture, moving out. For somebody, I'm feeling like moving out, moving into their own place, but it's like you're really owning your energy. It's not enmeshed and entangled with other people's energy anymore. So it's clearer, and that is increasing your magnetic, what was the word? Magnetism, there we go. That's increasing your magnetism as well. All right. Yeah, because the Three of Wands can sometimes, some people refer to that card as waiting for your ships to come in. But I don't feel like you've been waiting, not in the traditional sense of the word. That's part of this energy of detachment. You've been setting those intentions, you've been taking the steps, and you've been getting better and better at releasing the attachment to the result and the timing, particularly for somebody here. You've released your attachment to the timing. I dropped a card. I'm going to grab it. All right, so we have the Four of Swords and the Three of Swords here. And you've been healing. You've been healing. This is childhood wounds and childhood traumas. This is, I want to say, it just feels like time as well. Like some time has passed. And you know the old adage, right? Time heals all wounds. It doesn't necessarily. Those of us who have been in this process of inner child healing, shadow work, for lack of a better word to call it, it's kind of an overused term at this point. But you know what I mean, who've been in the healing process know that time doesn't necessarily heal all wounds, but it makes them sting a little bit less. What time can also do when we repress our wounds is create these subconscious blocks and these this stagnancy within the energy field. So you've released a lot of that stagnancy, but there is something with the energy of time here as well. So it's not just the work you put in, but it's patience. That's what I'm feeling with the timing. It's patience. It's been allowing for the natural cycles of grief, the natural cycles of healing, the natural cycles of releasing. You learned how to become patient with those cycles. I feel like I'm speaking to somebody who really, patience has been a difficult lesson. And trust me, I can relate to this. I'm a Taurus sun, so patience is a big theme with my sun sign's energy here. Some of you might have Taurus placements or Earth placements. We've got the Pentacles out on the table and the Swords. We've got a lot of air and earth going on here. Aquarius, I'm feeling somebody watching this is an Aquarius, or you have strong Aquarius in your chart. Maybe Aries as well. Those are just some of the other signs that I'm getting, but Gemini, it could be anything though. You've really had a lesson in patience here. And it's not just patience with the outside world, but patience with yourself. And that was a big breakthrough here, was when you learn to be patient with yourself and give yourself some grace, which is in its own a kind of surrender, an acceptance. It's like a powerful self-acceptance of being like, okay, I'm not over this yet. This still hurts. This still stings. I'm still digging up stuff from my childhood, right? I'm still engaged in some of these old patterns. And instead of beating yourself up over it, you just allowed it to be what it was and continue to move forward anyway. And it's the allowing it to be what it was that released that energy, because our resistance to something is what makes the energy stick, right? It's like glue attaching whatever we're trying to release to us because we're so resistant toward it, because we have so much frustration with ourselves. So that was a big thing for you, was learning how to let that go and be like, it's okay that I'm at where I'm at. I still love myself. This is reminding me of something that we do in tapping. I'm a big fan of EFT tapping, where at the beginning when you're tapping on your hand, you say, even though, fill in the blank, even though I'm hanging on to this old wound, even though I'm engaged in these same patterns, even though more healing keeps popping up, I choose to fully and deeply love and accept myself. There's a reason that every tapping sequence starts out with something, even though I choose. I choose to love, honor, and accept myself. For somebody, it's respect myself. There's a big energy here with respect, like self-respect, and learning how to demand that respect from others. And when I say demand, what I mean is not allow people to treat you in a way that is disrespectful. Because somebody here, that's been a big theme. And it's like that epiphany that comes when you realize that that respect starts within. There's a lot of people out there who will treat them however it is that we allow them to. And you stopped allowing that. All right, let's get some more energy here. We've got the Mystic coming out here with the Seven of Cups. And I believe the Mystic is the Hierophant, I want to say. So there's that Taurus energy for you. Somebody I'm feeling could have been dealing with a Taurus. You might have been in some type of situationship, I'm feeling, with a Taurus. And I'm only laughing because that was the story of my life in a lot of ways for a long time. So I could relate to that. I was the queen of the situationship. A situationship with a Taurus, or with somebody with strong Taurus. Maybe a Taurus moon. I'm seeing the moons here. There's a lot of water energy here too with this Mystic card. And the Seven of Cups. I feel like this is about choices. it was a lesson in making the choices that support the version of you that you want to be. And some of those choices we just talked about. Demanding respect is a choice. Not allowing people to walk all over you is a choice. Allowing it is a choice too, right? Let me get something else here with this. Usually I'm getting a different feel from the Hierophant card. It is. I always have the Hierophant card, to me a lot of times means a spiritual up level. Like we're graduating to the next level of our experience because we've learned a lesson. But here I'm also feeling it like the energy of the status quo too. That was a choice for some people. Like, do I go with tradition and the way things have always been done in my family, in society, like fill in the blank? Or do I go my own way? Do I make the choice that is right for me, regardless of how somebody else is going to feel? And yes, it's true. We want to consider other people's feelings, especially when we're in close relationship with them. However, and also, we need to learn and understand when to put ourselves first. And I feel like for whoever I'm talking to right now, that was another lesson that you had to learn. Because you are always putting people before yourself. And it's also the comfort zone energy. It's do I go the traditional route, which is comfortable for me, because it's familiar and because it won't engender or attract judgment from others. And remember, when we attract judgment from others, a lot of times it's because there's a judgment within the self. Particularly when we internalize that judgment. I think you've learned how to not internalize that. And how to recognize when something is somebody else's, when they're projecting something onto you. And some people, this is just, this is part of our energy. I'm only just becoming familiar with human design, but I've talked to a lot of people about some of the different gates and the energies in my profile. And there's a large projection energy. And I'm sharing this because I feel like there's somebody out there who's going to relate to this, and you might want to look into your human design. I see this sometimes through different things in people's astrology charts too. It's there no matter where you look at it. It's so interesting. But it's this energy of people projecting an expectation or an image onto you. People basically being this gigantic mirror in a sense that's just reflecting in a way other people's insecurities. And so people projecting this ideal onto you that you then fail to live up to and they get angry. People projecting almost like they think that they assume that they know what you know or what you think and what you feel, and acting in accordance with that version of you that exists in their minds. It's like you trigger something within them and they don't recognize that. And they're just projecting all of that, all of their stuff onto you. That's an energy here that I'm feeling. And you're learning how to not take that on anymore, which is beautiful. So what's with all these choices and decisions here? Is there anything else? Let's see, we got the Seven of Swords. But notice how positive this card looks. It's not your typical Seven of Swords here. This is that energy of doing something different. So Spirit's really advising you. That's what you need to know today. Remember the topic of this reading was what do you need to know right now? That's what you need to know right now. Do something different. Dare to be different. Dare to go against the grain. The traditional path does not work for you, viewer. It doesn't work for you. You were meant for something much bigger. Interesting, there's 2 keys on the bottom of this card. Do you see those? I thought they were tridents for a minute. The trident might be significant to somebody, but they're keys. Got the Spirit of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck here, which I believe is similar to the Page of Pentacles. Oh, the Sun. I didn't even notice that pop out here. I feel like this is improving health for some people, but it's also a brand new beginning. Notice this starburst or this portal looking thing here. This is in 2 of the cards here. Sunflowers might be significant to somebody as well. And the jaguar. There's a white jaguar though. Color of purity. It's like the portal energy is significant. I feel like you just stepped through a major portal. Or you're in the process, you're about to. And that's also what Spirit wants you to know. There's a decision or a choice. And this might not be a choice in the way of we think like, do I go right or do I go left? Do I say yes or do I say... It's like all the little things that you do. The way that you choose to live your daily life, all of that is the choice. It's moving in alignment with the version of you that you're ready to step into. Showing the universe, showing your higher self that you're ready by the choices and decisions that you make, all the little things throughout your day. Also the way you choose to think about yourself, to think about the world. My right ear just popped when I said think about yourself. So that self-judgment piece was big for you. All those little choices. It's like you stepped through the portal and now there is a wealth of possibility. And all those choices that you make are determining your vibration, which is determining where you go from here. So it's not even a big outer choice that I feel. It's an inner choice. Do you choose the Sun, right? Do you choose health and vitality and happiness and optimism? Or do you choose stress and worry and anxiety? Do you choose to be blind or do you choose to see? I feel like for some of you, you were blinded by your own anxiety, by your own negativity, where you couldn't see all the beauty that already existed all around you. And you're coming out of that now. You have an opportunity to come out of that now. We have the Two of Cups and the Wayfarer. Which I think might actually be the Lovers in the traditional tarot. But I always think of this as a card of great fortune because you see Jupiter there in the background, like big in the background. And this is a timeless reading, but for those who are finding this when I'm recording this video, Jupiter is so huge in the sky right now. Jupiter retrograde in Gemini. There's that Gemini energy coming through that I was picking up on. Weighing the options, weighing the pros and cons. For some reason, when I'm seeing this and I'm talking about weighing, I'm thinking about was it Thoth in Egyptian mythology, or Osiris, was it Osiris or Anubis? Whoever it was, where you went and you were weighed against the feather to determine where you went next. Your heart was weighed against the feather to be lighter than the feather. I'm getting set for some reason too. Somebody's really perhaps working with Egyptian deities, Egyptian magic, I'm almost feeling. Actually, when I went to Egypt, the Temple of Set and Horus was one of my favorites. It was a pretty cool temple. We had death on the bottom of the deck, but it was in reverse. So this was a transition that you had been resisting that you're now ready to make. And then we got the Ace of Cups. So Spirit's saying, and we've got the moth on this cup, which is interesting, right? Moth, spirit animal for some people. Spirit's saying the transition starts within, with all those little choices, like we said, all those little decisions. The little things are actually the big things. They're the things that add up to the big changes. And so if somebody's been feeling overwhelmed with taking those steps that you know you need to take, break them down into more bite-sized steps, into smaller, more achievable steps. I'm being reminded of, I think it was the 11/11 portal reading, and we had talked about the portal, right? So for some people, you might want to watch that. If you haven't watched that video, if you're new to my channel, welcome. It's one of the most recent videos that I've done. What was I just talking about? It'll come back to me if it's meant to. So all those little steps. Oh, that's what it was in that video. We talked about how you're taking all the little steps and all of a sudden it's like it adds up to a certain amount of energy that just propels you forward. And then it's like skipping steps. And for somebody who's been learning patience, like we talked about at the beginning of this reading, that's probably going to sound really good, right? But you got to take all the little steps first, and you got to, it's like put in the reps, so to speak. Don't be afraid to go against the grain. Don't be afraid to go your own way. That's where the magic is. We've got the Knight on the bottom of the deck. Some of you guys, look at the stars, work with the stars. I do astrology readings. I'm incorporating galactic astrology into my readings now as well, so they can be really powerful if that's something that you're interested in. All of my information for everything I do is on my website, which is linked in the description box below. But work with the stars, maybe get to know your own astrological chart. You can get a free chart generated on a bunch of different websites. Just type in free natal chart. There's tons of apps out there too. Astro Matrix, the pattern, those are a couple of the ones that I've worked with in the past that I enjoyed as far as apps go. Astro.com, a lot of people like to use. I don't really like the way they do birth charts. I prefer, like, Cafe Astrology does a decent one, just for ease of reading and interpreting. But work with that. Get to know the astrology. Get to know what's going on in the stars. Perhaps it's just like spend some more time looking up at the sky. For somebody, there's a message for you. A sign. I feel like that came up in another reading recently. A sign, like a shooting star or a comet or something. The signs are all around you. That's the last message that Spirit wants to give for this. The signs are all around you. If you've been asking for signs, Spirit's saying just pay attention because they're everywhere. Potential. I keep opening up to potential when I'm putting these cards away here. Your potential will be realized. High Priestess. Your intuition is opening up as well. I feel like for some of you, you might relate to, for me personally, I hated the word potential, because as a young child, everybody always saw so much potential in me to do great things. And it felt like a lot of pressure, like to live up to that potential. And so I went the complete other way, and I rebelled against everything and kind of threw it all away for a good decade of my life, at least. I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying, like, you might also be somebody, viewer, who feels that pressure with the word potential, pressure when it comes to success, like to continue to live up to that. And I feel like you felt a lot of pressure on yourself over the years, just in general, when it comes to, because remember, we talked about that projection energy, people projecting their expectations onto, their ideals onto you. So it's like to live up to this version of you that somebody else sees. And I feel like you spent so much time being the version of yourself that other people wanted you to be, or you felt they needed you to be, that you almost lost who you were. And so this is like a homecoming, coming home to yourself, realizing that you don't have to define yourself by all the roles that other people have given you. You can redefine yourself right now on your own terms. A lot of this has to do with living life on your own terms and giving yourself the permission to do that. You don't need anybody else's permission. So I'm not going to say this video, consider this your permission slip. You write the permission slip. But this is your invitation to write yourself that permission slip, to give yourself permission to live your life for you, to live your life on your own terms. All right, I love you so much. I hope that you enjoyed this reading. Go ahead and hit that like button. Drop a comment down below and let me know if this resonated for you. I'll talk to you all soon.